Okay.
Good morning or good afternoon, whatever time you're listening. This is Ted and Ed TV program. Welcome. Ed, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, Ted, I am doing great this morning. We have a wealth of topics for today that we're going to be talking about, and I think our audiences are going to be very, very pleased about some of the things that we're going to be talking about, and they are going to get very informed as to what we think about the past week's news and what's getting ready to happen, and some of the topics that we're going to be talking about are going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. And some of the topics we're going to talk about, one of the first things is Affordable Care Act. We're going to also talk about some interesting things about mobile businesses. A lot of people can tap into that as far as making some extra money on the side while working at their full-time jobs. Might probably talk about a little bit about Apple and their new iPhone, and then we're going to talk about a little politics, some crazy stuff that's going on right there. Uh, let's jump right into it. I know that for the last couple of sessions, we've been talking about the Affordable Care Act, or as they call it, the Obamacare. What's going on with that, Ed?
Well, uh, last month we thought that this whole Affordable Care Act, repealing the Affordable Care Act, was all over with. But it seemed like the devil's ugly head has risen up again. The Senate has found a way to possibly get rid of the Affordable Care Act because they only have until the end of this month before they can not be able to pass the Repeal and Replace Act uh, through the reconciliation process, where it takes 51 senators who are saying that it is okay, simple majority, they can peel it. Well,
Hmm.
now I guess the Senate, Lindsey Graham, one of the gentlemen and stuff who is out there trying to remove this thing, is really doing one heck of a job to get this thing going. And we found out that Lamar Alexander, who is the Tennessee senator, and he's the head of one of the committees there for the health industry, had decided to work with the Democrats and stuff and try to find some kind of way to strengthen the Affordable Care Act. Well, old Mitch McConnell, the little devil there, the Senate Majority Leader, decided that since Lindsey Graham and his group had a way of repealing the Affordable Care Act, that they were going to tell Lamar Alexander, stop what you're doing. We are going to again try to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. We're not going to strengthen it. We're going to repeal it because, as they say, our constituents have been waiting on this for 7 years.
Right.
And we have to repeal the Affordable Care Act because we've been telling our people that we are going to do this for 7 years. Well, through some investigation by some of our very astute media people out there on MSNBC News and CNN or whatever, we're finding out that it is not the constituents that are forcing the Senate Republican senators to go through this Repeal and Replace Act. It is their donors, those billionaires who've been putting money in the Republicans' pocket, have said, "You, you all have better repeal this Affordable Care Act because if you all repeal it, that means that the money that is being saved, we can use it as tax cuts so we can put more money in our pocket."
There
Now,
you go.
now, Ted, when is enough enough?
Who knows, man? It's crazy.
When is enough enough? You got billions of dollars in your pocket. Most of those guys will never spend that money in their lifetime. Their family won't spend it in their lifetime. But they
Hey,
oh
Greed and power is the name of the game, and that's just the bottom line. Greed and power. When you get combine those two, you never get enough. I mean, because you fill in an empty hole. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think
Eh,
that personally, the people are going to rise up. And I think in the long run, and they're doing it now. I mean, um, I've been watching a lot of news on television, a lot of news, on the internet. A lot of people are going around to these congressmen and senators' offices, and they are they are being very aggressive regarding this Affordable Care Act. Very
yeah,
aggressive. Let them know do
absolutely.
not get rid of it.
And you see that they have no feelings, no compassion for the people who are going to be hurt
No,
by them
not at all.
repealing the Affordable Care Act. There's millions of people out there who depend upon the Affordable Care Act now, even though a lot of them didn't want it to happen in 2009 when our past president Obama and we went ahead on and passed the Affordable Care Act. And now that they see how good the Affordable Care Act has been for them, they it's become a part of them, and it's saved a lot of lives. And now
Mhm.
the Republicans, they don't care if 34 million people don't have coverage, or if the old people who are in the nursing home can't get Medicaid money so they can stay in the nursing home. They don't care that the children's health program and stuff is going to be deteriorated. They don't care if Planned Parenthood is defunded and everything, because Planned Parenthood is not only for people who are women who are going through abortions or whatever. They also take care of women's health. They deal with them and making sure they don't have cancer and all that. And I was reading yesterday and stuff that the Affordable Care Act, because they have uh, trying to devastate it and everything, that a lot of our rural hospitals and stuff are not are being abandoned and everything, because they don't have the monies and stuff, because the Medicaid funding has dried up for them. So people in these rural areas and stuff don't have a hospital to go to because these hospitals are closing down. And the ironic part about this whole thing is that most of these hospitals are in the southeastern portion of the United States, and especially in Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi, and those were the states and stuff who did not take that Medicaid funding that the Affordable Care Act provided and stuff to those states. And yet and still, their rural hospitals and stuff in the area where most of their constituents are at are suffering because of that. So,
Well, here's the rub on that though, Ed. I believe because if you notice the conversations with some of these congressmen and senators and what have you, they believe in those small clinics. So that's the big money maker right now. If you drive around, now I'm in the Florida area. If you drive around and you see a bunch of private clinics everywhere.
mhm,
So a lot of times these people they go in there and if you don't have insurance, you got to pay cash right up front.
absolutely.
So whether you have insurance or don't have insurance, it doesn't matter. But in a hospital, you can go to your doctor, and if you got insurance, or if you go to your private doctor that and they say that I want to pay cash for this doctor visit, they can't accept your money because they know you have insurance. That's a rule that the medical doctors have to take because they will say, no, you have insurance. And now, if you have insurance and you still want to pay cash, it's too bad. And if you don't want to use your insurance, you have to use your insurance
And
for any procedure.
don't forget that those little small clinics and stuff and everything out there, they have a way of being able to extract that monies and stuff from you. And they also have a right to refuse you service if you can't pay them, if you don't have insurance or if you
Absolutely.
don't have that cash.
Absolutely.
But the hospitals can't. If you go to a hospital has to take care of you no matter what. They take care, they patch you up and everything. If you don't have insurance, they'll patch you up. You can be the last one in the line, but they have to get you and stuff in there. They'll patch you up, do everything to do and stuff, and then they'll get you out of the hospital. So they have to provide you their service that they're not getting paid for. So, but these small clinics and stuff, they don't have to do that. They don't; those rules do not apply to them. So they're money making outfits.
Money making outfits, because a lot of them just have these, what they call them, the assistant medical doctor, or I forget the term that they use, but they have a lot of people going through the training to be, medical doctors, but they're not quite medical doctors. They're just assistants, physician
Physicians
assistants.
assistants.
There you go. And so they just have one of those people there, and then the doctor just calls in, and if they need any kind of prescriptions and what have you. I think some of them can write prescriptions, especially if you got a full-fledged nurse that can write it as well.
Hmm.
So they can, one physician can have 4 or 5, maybe a dozen clinics.
Hmm.
And all he do is be on the golf course, and you get a call.
Absolutely.
And then he might say, "Well, take him to the emergency room. We'll tell him to go to the emergency room."
Yeah. This healthcare thing, Ted, being a part,
It's big money, man. Big money.
being 1/6 of the economy, there's a lot of money involved in this Affordable Care Act thing. So,
Yeah, we
uh,
laughing. I'm laughing about it, but it's not funny. It's really not.
yeah, it isn't. It isn't. But
It's sad.
it's a money making thing for a lot of people. But it's also a lifesaver and stuff for so many people out there who are
Hmm.
using that coverage and having pre-existing conditions and stuff that they cannot tell you that they cannot cover you and stuff for,
That's
because
right.
a lot of people and stuff are, like most of us, we have a pre-existing condition for being diabetic, for being have bad hearts or whatever, and
Or just having a surgery, that you've had a surgery, or any
mhm,
kind of form of anything that it's just
mhm,
all of a sudden your insurance policy goes up.
right, they don't go, and they'll lifetime limits and everything. They can go up to a certain amount. Once you pass that limit and everything, they're not going to cover you anymore. So it's a man, it's a very ugly monster out there, and the fact that we are still fighting this whole process and stuff and everything is just unreal. I thought back then, after John McCain had famously walked into the Senate chamber and did his act as the maverick, and he put his hand up and shook it and said no. That it was all over. But it's not. It looks like that he is coming back again, and instead of walking out in front of the chamber and giving his no, he's already told his people and stuff. And one of them is Lindsey Graham, who is a very good friend of his, that he is not going to vote for this new repeal and replace act that they're trying to pass and stuff now before next Saturday. So
Well,
they
before we change the subject, excuse me, let me just, I want to ask you this, because I don't get it. Because they supposed to be, both of those two gentlemen supposed to be tight. I mean, they buddy buddies. Whatever John
they are.
McCain says, Lindsey Graham, something has changed. Lindsey Graham, all of a sudden, he's on this Medicare case. This I'm sorry, the Affordable Care Act case. He wants to get rid of it. So something has gotten to this guy. I don't know what it is, and I don't know. I just don't get it, because
Lindsey Graham has always been a good Republican senator. He's always been a good Republican. He's from the state of South Carolina, and he ran on the platform of repeal and replace. And he also has people out there who are funding him, who are giving his money, these donors out there who he is beholden to. But the thing that is differentiates John McCain and him, even though they're very good friends, is John McCain has a heart. I think that back when we had the Vietnam War going on, and he was a political prisoner there in Vietnam for almost 6 years, 5 or 6 years there. That time being that prisoner and stuff there, and that torture that he had went through had made him into a different person. I,
Hmm.
I think that he has compassion and stuff there, and he believed that that time that he was there, that he was fighting for a constitution that protected the people here in the United States. Lindsey Graham didn't have that. He's always had a silver spoon in his mouth, and he doesn't. But this guy, John McCain, even though he is a Republican, a devout Republican, he follows them very well. He believes in the system that he almost died for.
Gotcha.
And Lindsey Graham and the rest of them do not have that compassion. They do not believe in that system of, of legislation that he lived by, that he almost died for. And if you listen to his speeches and stuff, he talks about regular order, regular order in the Senate. And regular order in the Senate and stuff is taking, if you got something that you want to, a bill you want to pass, you have to put it into these committees. They have to talk about it. And you need to come together in a consensus of Democrats and Republicans to try to get this process and everything through. And because these Republicans and stuff have just thrown this process completely out the window, John McCain doesn't like it, and he's holding to that conviction of regular order, what he believed in, and what he believes in. You can't buy that. and and they're very upset with him. McConnell is upset with him because, like I mentioned earlier, when he walked into that chamber there, he walked right in front of the Senate Majority Leader and put his hands up and said no. And it oh, Mitch didn't like that at all. He, and so I guess he probably told McCain this time and said, "Don't be throwing your thumb up at me and saying no out there. We need to find out what you're going to do about this thing right now." Because if you go back and look at the news and stuff, in the beginning of the week when they had this Graham Act and stuff that they were getting ready to pass, that he hadn't said that he was not going to vote for it or not. He was sitting there and waffling a bit, but he finally came out either Thursday or Friday and said no, he's not going to
Well,
vote.
I'm hoping that they don't pass that. One of the things that we wanted to talk about, one of the hot topics, as far as I'm concerned, is mobile businesses.
Oh man, go ahead.
One of the things that we find out in the urban communities, a lot of people don't realize that there's so much money out there that you can make in so many different types of mobile businesses. And just made a quick list. And sometimes people don't realize that you can do these things part time. You can do all kind of services that are available now. Some people, you can see that that's a big trend that's going on with entrepreneurs. They're realizing that you got to make more money. You just can't work at another job and think that you're going to make a decent living, because companies come and go now. I mean, or they can lay you off. You can get fired, obviously, and that type of thing, or they just go overseas somewhere. And so you gotta start something that you enjoy, and what your specialty is, or something that really just basically is what Denzel Washington said. You got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. So here's some ideas that you can do as far as mobile businesses that really can provide a service for your community. And one of them is pet grooming, which is a good thing if you love pets. You can be a niche food person, have a purchase a truck and do different types of services on that and food. The other one is party transportation, like a person that that likes to go out and party, and you can call these different organizations that's having services. They can, and you're having a party at a certain place, you can be able to transport those people, because you don't want people to be riding around and after they've, had a couple of drinks, get stopped. So they can always, you can set something up like that for people that's partying. Tutoring services, auto detailing, personal trainer, locksmith, cleaning service, even a salon. You can even set up a salon where you can go to people's homes. Uh,
Mhm.
Photographer. Now, besides all of those types of established type things, then you can also do with your phone and your laptop. You can do all kinds of. You can work for other people doing kind of doing data, doing customer service right there in your home. So it's all kinds of businesses that you can do to make that extra cash that you need. So mobile services, mobile businesses, that's the way to go. And one of the things that you have to have, and I know that Ed, you're big on this, is the Apple. I understand that they're coming out with a new one again. Seems like they come out with a new one every year, don't they?
Well, they do. They have to. They have to keep up with that because uh, Apple is probably going to be the first $1 trillion company, and they're real close to that right now. They have this new iPhone 8 that they bring out now. They just finished up with the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus and last year, and now they have the iPhone 8s that are coming out this year. But they did something this year that is kind of unusual for Apple. They have a anniversary model of their iPhones that are going to be coming out next month in October, the end of October, and they along with the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus, which is already out right now. People can purchase them through their carriers, or they can go to Apple and purchase these iPhones for their respective carriers. Well, with these new phones that came out, uh, the iPhone 8 is gone up about another hundred and some dollars and stuff. So there's a little bit more money that you're going to have to pay for the iPhone 8. But now the iPhone X, which is they call the iPhone 10, which is coming out next month, those phone base price is $1,000.
What? $1,000?
$1,000. That's the base model. That's the one with hardly anything on it. 64 gigabytes of
Wait a minute.
disk
You
space.
trying to tell me it can go up higher? How high can it go?
Oh yes, they it can go all the way up to almost $1,300,
Oh my goodness.
depending on
Oh,
what you want on it. And there are people who are planning on buying it. And how they do it is they're doing creative financing to get these new iPhones. And eventually, Apple and the Wall Street folks and stuff are gonna make more billions of dollars and stuff and put it in their coffers and build a new spaceship headquarters and stuff in another part of the country because they've already got one over there in California that they finished up on. That cost Apple almost $3 billion to build.
wow.
So
So the iPhone is going to be like it's like when you purchase a car, you get you say I'm going to sign up for 3 years and then I'll pay off the car, or 5 years or 7 years or whatever the length of time. And because usually the contracts for phones are usually about 2 years.
right,
So instead of you paying a normal $50, $60 a month for your phone, now you're gonna be paying 160 and maybe even up to 200 something dollars a month for your phone because you got to
absolutely.
pay for that thing.
Absolutely. And most of those contracts and stuff, even though they you have to sign up with your carrier for 2 years, Apple has gotten themselves into the business and stuff. Even though they are putting these phones and stuff out there, they've gotten into the sale of the iPhone to where you don't
Wow.
have to go to your carrier to buy the iPhone. You go to Apple and buy the iPhone. So
Wow.
because you go to Apple and you buy the phone from Apple and everything, they are the ones and stuff who give you that financing. If your credit is good enough, you can buy the phone from Apple. And because if you buy the phone from Apple now, Apple also has a thing called Apple Care, which used to be $100 for 2 years of insurance and stuff on your phone. Well, now because the phones got more expensive and everything, they've increased the price of the Apple Care. It's up to $149 for Apple Care for their service for the insurance
Okay.
for 2 years. They call it Apple Care. But it's a very good program because if anything goes wrong with your phone, anything goes wrong with it, you just take it back to Apple and everything, and they'll either replace your phone. If you lose your earpiece, if you lose your charging cord or any other accessories that came with the phone, you just come back in there, give them the old cord, and they're going to give you a brand new when you walk out the door. You don't pay anything for it. They also give you a reduced price and everything and stuff for fixing. Most people drop their phones and they break the glass or whatever on the front of the glass and stuff. You bring it in there to Apple and stuff, and for I think it used to be $69. Now it's $99. They replace the front glass and stuff of your iPhone and give it back to you.
So they nickel diamond you like everybody else, like the grocery stores.
They are, but they are better than the service contracts that you get at your carrier, who was AT&T or Sprint or T-Mobile and all of them. They sell insurance plans too and everything, but those insurance plans are full of holes, and you still wind up and stuff paying and stuff for it. But Apple Care is a pretty good program. When I first bought my iPhone, I didn't want to buy it, but at that time, Apple would not let you buy their iPhones and stuff unless you bought the Apple Care. Well, I found out after I had paid that $99 and stuff that the service that I got from it for 2 years and stuff, going back and getting this done or losing this or getting my earpieces and all that stuff replaced and all that, it paid for itself over. So I wind up getting my money and stuff back and more because of the things that happened to it. Right now, I have an iPhone 6 and stuff, and I'm thinking about turning it in for an iPhone 8, but I don't know. My iPhone 6 looks good, and I think I want to keep it because I'm not going to be spending $1,000. I wrote a blog article and stuff last week and stuff, and then people look on our website or our Facebook page and everything, they're going to see there's items and stuff in there about the iPhone and how back when my grandparents and stuff were living, that they paid $1,500 for 15 acres of land in Mississippi back in the 60s, early 60s. And now we're turning around and buying a phone that's only going to last until the next new phone comes out for the same price that my grandparents paid for 15 acres of land.
Yep. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So read the article if you guys get a chance to go out there and read that article. It is very, very interesting how
it's funny you should say that.
Apple have done that. Yeah.
It's funny you should say that. You know, nowadays you can't buy 15 acres. I mean, 15 acres now costs you about a couple of $2-3 million now. I don't
in some places.
Yeah, in some places, I'm telling you, it's like crazy. You know, these people, and just a half an acre or 1 acre will cost you couple of $200,000-$300,000, if not more, and that's with nothing on it, not a thing on it. So the money that you can make in you know, last time we talked, or at least I wrote an article about land. And unbelievable the people that's got so many acres of land that has been bought in this country. And I'm talking about prime acres of land that for farmers and what have you. And one of the things that I when I talked about it was that you have these people that buy so much land. But in the last 50 years, they have given government subsidies to not farm almost $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
These people are making money to not do anything. They're just giving them money to not farm. It's a scam. As the words that Dick Gregory said, it's just crazy. Yeah. I mean, the stuff that's going on. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about too is the Clinton initiative. What's going on with that? Because we know that Mrs. Hillary Clinton, She has been all over the place in the last couple of weeks. She got something to say about everything now, and she's got a new book out. So what's going on with that?
Well, her husband, after he had left office from being the president, decided that he wanted to do something for people, even in this country and people outside this country, to help build up the world. And this was his baby, I guess, that had built out there called the Clinton Initiative. And in the Clinton Initiative, because of him being president, he knew a lot of people out there in other countries and stuff who had money. People in Europe, rich people in Africa, rich people in Asia and Dubai, Japan, Russia, and he reached out to all of them and everything, and decided that they needed to do something and stuff to help poor countries and stuff like countries in Africa or whatever, and to build water plants and stuff there in these countries and stuff because people needed fresh water. They needed to have health places where they can go and stuff to get themselves healthy. So he convinced all these billionaires or whatever to donate money, and they have been doing this since he left office. And they put money into the Clinton Initiative. And I don't know if people realize that when they had that big storm and the earthquake there in Haiti, they used the Clinton Initiative project and everything to funnel in something like $5 or $6 billion into rebuilding Haiti. Well, the money was given to the Clinton Initiative, but not even a third of that money has been used and stuff in the country to rebuild Haiti. Haiti is still in real bad shape, yeah, even after earthquake happened to them, whatever,
Why is
7 or 8
that?
years ago. Well, the money has gone down a black hole, and this has been a
Black hole. What does that mean? Let's be specific.
somebody has taken that money and pocketed it. Now I don't know if Flint did, I don't know who did it, but someone within the initiative pocketed that money, and they have been successful. And anytime that little monster rolls up about where his money at, Clinton and whoever has been his PR people have been able to keep it down. This
Yeah.
year, after his wife had decided to run for office and to be president, and she lost her election to become president of the United States, I guess Bill said, I got to get out of here because during that process and everything, the Clinton Initiative came up again and stuff, the evils that were going on with this program that he had going on out there. And because of that, Bill now has decided to let someone else run the Clinton Initiative. And that person and stuff is the one and only past mayor of New York, Michael R. Bloomberg.
Wow.
so
That's what a
he's
billionaire
gonna
taking over.
he's gonna take over the Clinton Initiative, and Bill's gonna sit back on the sideline and probably be on the board of directors or whatever to help Michael Bloomberg to get this organization back going again. Because really, actually, Michael is Bloomberg is he's a billionaire with a conscience. Even though he likes to make money and he has a lot of money and stuff in his thing, he does go out and do a lot of good things and stuff. Matter of fact, he got involved in this election after he had left to be mayor of New York. He got involved in stuff, and he started a big project and stuff where he donated almost $100 million to do studies and stuff on how people were rigging elections or trying to stop people from going out and voting. And he wanted to make sure that the Americans and people out there went out and they had the right to vote, and they could not take that right and everything and stuff from them. I have no idea now where that process and stuff is at, but I know right after the 2012 election and stuff, that's when he decided to do that, and he spent a lot of money
Yes.
out there in that. He had a PAC fund that he was funding and stuff, and he used a lot of people out there to go out to find out to tell people and stuff how to register to vote and all that. So anyway, now
Okay.
he's the head. He's going to be the head of the Clinton Initiative, and that's the new
Okay.
thing that just came out. So,
Well, I'm looking forward to getting more information on that because
oh yeah,
I've
look
been,
out for old Michael. He's something else now. He's a little
yeah,
rascal.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna see what he's gonna do, and then maybe he might do something that's figuring out where all that Haiti money went.
Yeah, well, Michael has always he was the mayor for 2 terms of the city of New York, and he's a Republican, but he is not like those Republicans that you see up there in the there in Congress or the one who's sitting there in the White House. He is nowhere near like them. He has compassion, and when he was the mayor of New York and stuff, he was very popular with Democrats and Republicans.
Mm.
So
Okay.
he's
Well,
not
I'm
that
hoping
long
for the
Republican.
best.
Yeah.
Hoping for the best. One thing that what we want to do our last few minutes, we got about another 15 minutes or so. One thing that I wanted to touch on, we got some quick hits, what we call as quick hits, that we've been going through for the last couple, 2, 3 months. One of the things that you wanted to talk about is climate change. We've been having all these hurricanes and what have you. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, these hurricanes that are coming through. I know a lot of people and stuff who were in Houston who are still feeling the effects of the hurricane that came through there. Well, because of climate change, and a lot of people who are Republicans who are climate change deniers are telling people that they shouldn't worry about climate change. But from what I'm seeing and stuff that's going on now with all these hurricanes and these natural disasters and stuff, we need to figure out a way to deal with climate change because no one, you look at the hurricane that came into Houston, there has never been a hurricane that came into land and just sat there. That was an anomaly that was unheard of. When it hit Houston, the hurricane sat there for a couple of days, just dumping rain and stuff on Houston, just dumping rain on them. And then the hurricane turned around, went back out into the Gulf of Mexico, gained strength again. It's almost like this thing had its own mind as to what it wanted to do. It wanted to go in there and just wreak havoc on Houston, and then it was going to, because when he goes over land, it doesn't have any energy because there's no hot water coming up there to keep energizing. So the hurricane just said, okay, now I'm going to go back out into the Gulf of Mexico and gain some more strength here and everything, and then I'm going to come back in land and stuff and destroy some more people.
Mm. That was horrible.
Dude, that is unheard of. No one has ever heard of a hurricane doing that kind of thing. So something is going on out there. And I think that we as a country and we as a world and stuff need to realize that, and the only thing I can figure out that's doing that is climate change, and that we have to deal with our fossil fuels and how we and start thinking about using alternative fuels and everything for whatever we're doing, whether electricity, whether it's running our cars and our generators and our plants and stuff to generate energy and stuff for us. We need to look at that seriously and stuff and everything and figure out that we are destroying this planet and stuff for our grandchildren.
But look at this though. I know you might be familiar with this. I know I've been reading a lot, because I lived on the West Coast for a little while. They're having humongous troubles too with forest fires. So I
Well,
mean, in California, I think they've counted something like over 100 forest fires all over, and I mean they're nonstop this year, and it is devastating the West Coast.
man,
Yeah,
I didn't know that until you brought that up to me that this was going on.
yeah.
But nobody, because of all these hurricanes that's coming through the South and everything, coming out of the Gulf and out of the Atlantic and everything, most people are being concentrating on that. and we don't hear a lot about those fires that are going on over there in California. And I think that a lot of times when you start talking about those fires in California, Californians always have fires around there. But I guess from what you were saying and stuff, now it has gotten even worse. It's
Escalating,
yeah.
escalating.
Hmm.
And it's a sad part too, because the thing is, it's destroying hundreds and hundreds of homes. I mean, when you look at it, you look at the fact that hundreds of homes in California are being destroyed, thousands of homes in Florida and Houston has been destroyed. So it's if this is climate change, that's what's happening, because it's affecting people's livelihood. And I don't know, somebody has to address with the intelligence of this government is going to have to address this as far as what's going on, because the government only has so much money to support all of this, and the insurance companies, they're going to go broke. I mean, it's going to wipe them out, because these
Well,
people are going to be performing all these claims or whatever.
well,
What's going to happen?
well, my wife has already solved that problem. She told me
Okay.
that because we live here in Georgia, and the hurricane that came through, it affect us for a little bit, a lot of wind and some rain or whatever. But she's already told me to get ready at work, because our insurance premiums are going up. Somebody's going to have to pay for this stuff, and the insurance company ain't going to do it. So they're going to up our premiums and stuff on homeowners policy. So now with you, Ted, it's not going to affect you, but with me, it's going to affect me because I have a home still.
Okay. I got
So we're gonna be paying for it. Those people who have all those insurance companies and homeowners policy, I can guarantee you, if you have a home and you have homeowners insurance, it is going up. And I don't care if you live in Florida where it devastated, or Houston where it devastated, at you are going to pay for it. The
Oh
insurance
yeah.
company is
Oh
going to jack
well,
up.
the
They're
thing
going
about it, we are going to pay for it in some way, form or another. Food is going to go up, and your car insurance is going to go up. Everything is going to go up because of this climate
to,
change.
yeah, you got to eat.
And because of all of these things, because you look at the hundreds, the thousands of cars that's been destroyed,
Absolutely.
flooded, trucks and
Absolutely.
cars been destroyed.
Absolutely. And don't forget now, as when Houston is a major petroleum industry area, and they have
There
refineries
you go.
down there who take oil and they turn it into gasoline. Well, as soon as the hurricane was getting ready to hit Houston, I don't know if people around the country realized and everything, but the gas prices started going up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 50, 75 cents a gallon.
Oh, absolutely. They hadn't even affected the supply of gasoline that was coming into these gas stations. They immediately start going up,
Yep.
and so far it's still up, and it hasn't went back down again. So I guess they're trying to wreak havoc and stuff on people and everything. Say, hey, we're going to take a natural disaster and stuff and raise money on it.
Oh yeah. I
Because
mean,
that
your disposable income is going to be very small in the next few months. So you can forget about it. You
absolutely.
know. So
So
another thing that we were talking about is uh, we wanted to talk about what's going on with the Speaker of the House, and what's going on with some of these people as far as their mentality, as far as with the health care, with all of these things that's going on with the budget. They just increased the military by almost $100 billion.
mhm,
They went from six something, now it's almost seven, going on 8 billion. I
mhm.
mean, 800 billion. So, instead of them concentrating on helping people, not only in this country, but around the world. We got slides going on, mudslides. We got flooding all over the world. We just had hurricanes in Puerto Rico. We got all kind of issues in the Caribbean islands. And where is the urgency of that? Instead of building more, talking about building more weapons and this kind of thing, and they're antagonizing so many people, in my opinion, as far as Iran, uh, as far as North Korea. That's crazy. What's going on, man? Because it seems like they want a World War. That's just what it looks like.
Well, we've Republicans have always decided that they wanted a strong military. And the real ironic part about that whole thing is that when they decided to add this money to their budget, it wasn't the Republicans who helped do it. It was almost a unanimous vote and stuff in both houses of Congress to add that $100 billion and stuff to the military budget. And I guess you have to look at your priorities and everything as to what's going on, because we've been talking about this for many years, even when I was a young boy and stuff and everything, how we've always wanted to have a strong military. We had to have military. We had to keep putting money into our military, and people were suffering and stuff. And they figured that the Congress and all the legislative people felt that the military was the thing. We had to put that money into that military. And right now, our country and stuff has the strongest military, and the strongest military and the strongest military budget in the world. We,
Oh yeah.
yeah, our military budget exceeds almost every international country and stuff.
The
You know,
first top countries in the world, seven of them, we are spending more in the
than we are.
military budget than the top seven countries in the world.
Yes, they
That's
are.
including Russia, China, and anybody else Germany, anybody else you can think of.
In England, everybody. It is just unbelievable the amount of money that we are dumping into the military, and the fact and stuff that our military and stuff is, and we all know that it's a waste hole and stuff there out there. It's a wasteland for taking our finances and stuff and just throwing it away on projects and stuff and everything, planes and stuff that don't never work. We spent oh man, billions of dollars on these planes and stuff and everything. You can't even get them off the ground.
Right.
Finding out that they well, we got to dump this project because we didn't put too much money in, because they done just went over their budget almost twofold of building this daggone plane, and their plane don't work. They can't get it off the ground. They can't do what it's supposed to be doing. So I'll forget it. Just leave it alone. Stockpile it. All that money has been spent for nothing. It is gone. So,
Well, somebody made some money off of it.
oh, they did. Oh, they
So they
did.
got some money off of it,
Yeah.
all these little different little projects and what have you. And I'll go back to what Dick Gregory said. It's a game, as far as not putting money into the communities that need the money that can really grow the country. You know,
Hmm.
how many people, how much money could we have spent, in better educating people, providing new, using some of that money even to, put it into small businesses and making the loans available for small businesses.
Hmm.
More small businesses so more people can work and more people can have careers and what have you.
Absolutely.
But
And the infrastructure and stuff that we are
yes,
dealing with and
absolutely,
everything.
absolutely.
Our roads are in horrible shape and everything, and we are not doing anything to take care of our rail service or whatever. You got most of these countries and stuff out there now, like China, Japan, even in Europe and stuff now, they got these high-speed trains to move their people and stuff around in. Our railways, you can't get no more than 60 miles an hour. These people are rolling on these daggone air tracks and stuff and everything at 200 miles an hour.
Hmm. Right.
And this is a modern way of moving their people around. And we just aren't investing and stuff into our system of transportation. I don't know if you've been on the highway and stuff, Ted, but I've been out there. I just came back from a funeral and stuff to bury my wife's aunt. And man, you get on that highway and stuff now, especially in the daytime, these trucks and all these things, man, are clogging up these highways and everything. And there are going to be a lot of people who are going to get killed out there and stuff trying to move around in this country and stuff, because we have not prepared for the growth and stuff in our country that we are seeing and stuff now.
Oh yeah, because there's no question. The thing is, people be saying that they don't want, uh, people to come to this country and immigrate, different kind of immigration and people coming in. But it's already been predicted that another week, another 100 million people or more in the next 25 to 30 years going to be in this country. Instead of 340 million, we're going to have almost a half a billion people in this country, living in this country. People better realize that, hey, you cannot stop it. You can't stop it. People are going to come to this country, and the growth of around the world. We have over 7 billion people. It wasn't that long. We only had 6.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got over 7 billion people in the world. So people better get used to it. This is just the way it is. Population growth.
Yeah, we have to start planning for that. Other than and the word that a lot of these rich folks are using, like they're saying, I heard on some people are talking about culling the herd. Well, they're thinking that if these folks, if they don't fund these people's health programs or whatever, like the Affordable Care Act, these people are going to die. So that means that they don't have to worry about them. They're dead.
Mhm.
Now that's a horrible, horrible, horrible idea and stuff, Ted. But these billionaires and stuff out there, they are thinking about this. So this
Yeah,
is why they don't
absolutely.
want to. This is why they want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. They don't want uh, poor people and middle class people living for these long lives. They need to get rid of them so they can continue to have their money and they can, as their word used, culling the herd.
Power and greed.
Yeah,
Power
power
and
and
greed.
greed. And so
Well, I hate to I leave it on a
on a bad note,
negative,
yeah.
on a bad note. But you know, let's say something good. Let's say something positive. When we get off the air, we got about another 2 or 3 more minutes. I'm trying to think of something really, but I'm thinking that the only thing I can say is that um, I heard President Obama speaking,
Mm-hmm.
our former president,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave me a ray of hope.
Mm-hmm.
And why I say that is he has the Obama Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to have offices all over the country.
Again.
Right. And he's going to do a lot of things that are positive to keep people informed. A whole lot of things that's going on with him, and he wants people to be engaged.
Absolutely.
So I feel there is a ray of hope if people just stay positive. And I'm gonna say this: walk in love, walk in peace, be aware of what's going on, and then when you see something, as they say something. But I say if you see something that's going on, call somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Call your congressman, call your senator, call your local commissioner, whoever, and let them know that you're not pleased with certain things that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Get engaged.
Mm-hmm. And that was his purpose for doing that. He was very good when he became when he started running for the office of president of the United States, and he's taking that same philosophy that he had and he's bringing it out there now in the Obama Foundation, where he's reaching out into communities and stuff, because people in the community have power. They just don't know it. We look at our Congress and stuff and saying, oh man, I can't do anything about what they're doing. Well, yes, you can. All you have to do is get out there and exercise your right to vote. And I know that we beat this horse and stuff for a long, long time and stuff, that your vote matter. Your vote does matter.
Absolutely.
And if you don't exercise that right and everything, then what happens and stuff up there, having a president sitting up there in the White House that is a laughing stock of this whole world, is a reflection and stuff of people not getting out there and voicing their opinions and stuff. Instead of after the election's over, bringing almost 3 or 4 million people out there in the streets and everything to voice saying that he's not our president. Well, you should have went out there and cast your vote, and he would not have been our president.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but like Obama has said, we can't just give up There are positive things going on in everybody's community. There are things that we can do to improve where we at. And like my old people say, just brighten up the world around you. If you can plant some flowers, grow something and stuff and everything. Yeah, man, hey, there's nothing wrong with getting your hand into a little dirt and growing a pretty little flower that you can put inside your home or your apartment and have some nice flowers and stuff sitting around it, because those flowers and stuff going to help purify the air that you're breathing, because it pulls in the carbon dioxide and it puts off oxygen and everything for you, so you can do all right. And we have to do one other thing and stuff, Ted, and I have to say this and stuff. We have to take care of our children.
That's true.
Our children are our future. They are the most important thing that we can have. And I know that you are doing your part as in Papa Daycare.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're taking care of those grannies and stuff, and we all do that. We looking out for our grandchildren and making sure that they are doing something positive out there, so they can be able to be a voice and stuff in this world, and a positive voice, and that's what we need to have. So the future is there and stuff and everything. All we have to do is make sure that we get them ready and stuff for it, just like our foreparents did for us. We need to get them ready and stuff, in the same way, and let them go out there and be a voice out there and stuff for us as our community. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, on that note, I thank all our people that's listening. Those people, I just want to let them know that check out our website, check out our blog. We're on Facebook, Money Connection. And then on our website, Ted and Ed, moneyconnection.com. We look forward to coming back next week. There is a possibility, and I'm just putting it out there, that we might start doing a daily show pretty soon. So look forward to that, where we can talk about the issues every day.
Every day.
Because there's so much stuff that's out there.
There is so much stuff going on, Ted. It is just unbelievable what's going on out there. And it takes people like us, media folks and stuff like us, putting these things and stuff out there so people can understand what's going on, because a lot of people and stuff, they're going to work, they're trying to work in 2 and 3 jobs and stuff during the weekday, and then when they get home on the weekend, they can't hardly do anything but keep up with what's going on in the household. Well, look to Ted and Ed TV channel and stuff, and we're going to keep you informed.
With that note, we're going to say we'll see you next time.
See you next time.